Jonni Apollo is with us. How are you doing?
Good, good. How you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Now, is there anything that you're working on at the moment?
Currently, there has been like a 400 article press release rollout on my record label that I
Wow.
started, and on my single that dropped last year on July 4th of 2020. It's just been an on fire release, and it just hasn't let up,
Mm.
and it's still going.
Wow, yeah. So, just tell me a little bit about the style of the music that you make. Does it belong to a particular genre, would you say?
I mean, yes, it
Yeah,
like hip hop is where I would fall under, but I like to make good music.
yeah,
I grew up with a rock influence, so I had like a lot of rock and roll metal background. So I like to sing on certain beats, no. But if
mm,
I can feel it, I will sing, and I'll rap, and I'll harmonize. I like to make music. I like to
yeah,
make music. It's
absolutely.
fun.
And lyrically, do you have particular themes that you write about or topics?
Everything I write about is either about my past, present, or where I want to be in the future.
Yeah,
Once in a while, I'll talk about someone else's life, maybe like, but through my eyes. Not, I don't speak for that person, if
yeah.
whoever I'm talking about. Um, but I, I honestly keep it real with my music. I keep it real.
Yeah. So, what made you first want to start making music in the first place when you were younger?
I have a very, very distinct memory of this. I was like
Mm,
5 years old, and my uncle put me behind his drum set, and he handed me the sticks, and I remember I was like hitting the drum set, and the mom came in, and then I remember walking out of the garage, but I don't remember what happened after that. I just remember that point. I was like, damn, those were cool.
mm,
And yeah, it was just off and running from there. At 12 years old,
yeah,
that same uncle bought me my first drum set, and then it was a Walmart one because he wasn't sure how serious I was going to take it. But then
yeah.
that same uncle again bought me a one from Guitar Center, and that's when there was the musical shift.
Yeah. So I take it then people in your family were quite musical and you were a bit of a sponge, I suppose, and absorbed that.
Yeah, my grandpa used to sing in a 1940s 50s old school band, the T-Birds.
Wow.
They were out here in Sun Valley, California, and he was doing some backup harmonizing for a little bit, and then he met my grandma, and the whole love story from there.
Mm.
um but my uncles, they all sing. Like, one of them draws. My other uncle, he almost played for the Diamondbacks,
Mm.
uh, Arizona Diamondbacks. And so, like, everyone in my family, and that same uncle was also the drummer too. So everyone in my family is like, we're just good at something. It just, my family didn't proceed with it because it was, the dream rather than making it a career.
Yeah. Well, have you managed to make it a career yourself, or are you still following those same lines?
I have jumped over full time.
Wow.
I've made it into a career. When I dropped Change from Apollo, I I didn't go full time right away. I dropped it, and I moved out of the house that I was in around August, and then I kind of was in a weird situation. But when I got into the place that I'm in now, my whole life just like changed. And I,
Mm.
I quit the job that I was where I was a bartender, and I was bartending for like, well, at that time it was coming up on a year, but then I was
Yeah.
also doing like bartending and serving before that. And like, it was just it was a crazy ride. Cause I mean, I've been job to job to job to job. I think the longest job I kept was bartending because it was so fast paced and it was so like fun,
Mm.
met a lot of people. But again, like, here I am, 29 years old. I quit my job, and I was like, fuck it. This is it. This
Yeah.
is it. Like, I have to go for it. I'm blowing up. And right when I quit my job, articles started coming out, like weird shifts started happening. It's just like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. How did your family react to you quitting your job and taking up music?
Oh man. Um, I I still think they don't believe it. I
Yeah.
you know they believe it, but they're just like, wait, what? Because some people don't quit their jobs until 2-3 years into their like careers of what they want to do.
Mm.
Me, I said, F it, I'm out. Like, this is it. And
Yeah.
I because I mean, I struggle as a bartender, paycheck to paycheck.
Mm.
Right now, I'm not struggling, but I mean, royalties hit throughout the month, so it's kind of like a struggle. But it's I would be struggling the same thing working in 9 to 5 as
Yeah.
I'm doing right now, making music. And I'm perfectly fine doing this struggle, going somewhere rather than that struggle staying in place.
Yeah, and I don't know how much money you make as a musician, but because you're kind of more directly getting the money from the customers, there's no kind of wages where you're kind of being underpaid compared to what the company actually makes, right? Whereas, if you're self-employed, you can take all the customers' money.
Oh, absolutely. There's no middleman. There's no like, oh yeah, we're gonna take 20% on that, and then when you
Yeah.
drop, you have 5% on that merch. Oh, you just sold that 2% on that. Like, nah, like this is, and that's what I try to preach is keep everything. I own all my publishing. I own all my distribution. I own literally, unless there's like a pre-cut prior to like publishing and distribution, there is nothing that is coming into my pie.
Yeah.
Like, and I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. It's a blessing. I mean, things are starting to now really pick up from last year's investment. Last year, I took pretty much all of my savings and I ran with it. This is pretty much is what I did. And I have a daughter, and like I just knew that I can't let this talent go to waste. I'm like, yeah.
And are there any struggles about being indie? Because, if you're in a record deal, it's kind of a guaranteed source of income for that term of the deal. But, I guess being indie, you have to struggle a bit more, I suppose.
Yes and no. Because I mean, when it comes to like the merch and all that, I mean, because I'm coming out with the merch line for the first time ever, because I've doing music for a very long time, but
Yeah.
for the first time, my name will be on the merch instead of the company's name.
Wow.
Or a company that I'm working with. So like I'm really I'm doing it all different this time. So I don't know how much artists would normally see for merch, because I know when I would do a merch with old teams, we'd all just split or we just go right back into it. Like I don't know. This is pretty much all me. It's out of my pocket. So when I'm in a rut, I'm in a rut. It's like, oh, shoot, like I gotta wait for royalties to hit. Okay, come on royalties, and then like it hit, or I get a job, because I also do I do marketing and promotion for artists as well as like graphic. I pretty much do the entire industry except radio, and that's like literally it. I've just learned. I went to school for video, and cut out everybody.
Yeah. And CFAM Records and EMG, you've both joined forces as well, right?
Yeah, yes. CFAM Records. It's creating finance and music records. I'm heavily into believing like we create our own finances. So and then music records, and it just happened to play out that way because CFA was changed from Apollo, and I was originally going with Change from Apollo Records, but as like things started presenting itself, and I was marketing, and then the M kind of popped up. I was like, oh look, CFAM. I was like, and then it creating finances and music records was, I was behind my computer, and it just it hit, and I was like, oh my god, like that's how I know this is like, it's not forced, it's not for show, it's coming together.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like holy. Yeah, it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing to be on this side.
Yeah. And what do you enjoy most about making music?
The reaction I get from people. I love to see if they hate it, then honestly, like I'm a big people person, like a people pleaser. It's probably one of my defects, but because I'll really listen to my fans. I'll really, like, if you guys don't like that song, I'm never making that kind of song again, unless it's like a fast rap, because I'm a fast rapper. Like I love rapping fast.
Yeah.
And so for years they've all been like, slow it down. And like lately, it's like, all right. I've been taking a different approach, and really listening to them, because really at the end of the day, like the fans matter. Like we're artists. Yes, our art matters, but who are you going to show your art to when no one cares about it?
That's true. Because there's kind of a balance. A lot of people will tell you, if you want to be creative, you have to do it for yourself. But then others will be like what you said, that if nobody's going to watch it, what's the point?
You as an artist, though, especially if you're indie like myself, you have to I mean, there's nights where I won't go to sleep until 4 or 5 in the morning, wake up at 9 in the morning, and then like have to get right back to work. These are things that you have to do as indie because there's nothing else backing you. I mean, when you're sleeping, you have a record label that's still pumping 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You know, on Christmas, Thanksgiving, it don't matter. When you're when you're indie, when you're not working, your music stops. So it's man, but you'll find that balance. If you really want it, you'll find that balance, you know. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you get up to anything else in your spare time when you're not making music, or are you staying up at 4 a.m. making songs all the time?
No, that's not all. It's because I mean, there's sometimes where I'll be up until like 4 in the morning, just stuck in my head trying to put plans together. Like I have like a bunch of sticky notes on my desk. Shout out to my roommate. He like blessed me with a new desk, and it's nice. And I have like this little drawer where I put all my sticky notes and all my it's just like all these notes are everywhere, man. And it's the record label, it's my moves, it's my artist's moves. I'm always thinking about like something or someone, and I want to help that person. But being it's the music industry, they don't want you to help them because they think you want something out of it. And me personally, I don't really care for anything out of it. I just want to grow with you because we're all going to blow up and we need to invade this industry as a team, because if we don't invade it as a team, nothing's going to change. Like, I don't know. That's for another topic.
Yeah, absolutely. When you said we're all going to blow up, I just assumed the worst. This world is going crazy.
No. I mean, like artists, because if you find another artist with the mentality, like, I mean, when you find another podcaster with your kind of mentality, you're like, hell yeah. Bet. Like you are who I want to. Can I podcast you? Because it motivates you. It's what it's what you do, and it's what you're going to do forever. And I want to find the same people that think like me as well. High five each other when we, do something good, and cry with each other when we do something bad. Like if we win as a team. We lose as a team. Shout out to my team, EMG and CFAM, because without those four other dudes, I mean, I would literally still be right here by myself doing this by myself. And they jumped on board because they believed in me, because I believed in them, and we all believe in each other, man. Yeah. And shout out to my team.
A lot of people will tell you that it's the friends you make along the way that make it the best. I know it's kind of a cliche though, isn't it?
It is, but it's so true though. Like sometimes the most cliche things in life are just like, I hear it all the time, but okay, you hear it all the time, or do you hear it all the time? Because you can hear something, or are you like listening? Because verbiage, man, words, and it's all power. Everyone hears everything, but who's listening?
Yeah, that's true. Never thought of it that way. Do you have any highlights since you've been making music as well?
Man, I mean, there are some big things. I mean, when I jumped into when I was 22 and I started like doing it more on like a full-time basis. Well, I tried at 22. Like a couple of my highlights where I got to New York. We went to I pretty much was traveling from Sacramento to Los Angeles almost every weekend. We were doing work with artists out there. And then I just started focusing on me, but then speeding up to now. I mean, Change from Apollo is like, it's my career, really. It is my musical career. And I mean, I have I think I'm about to crack 300, and I always forget this, but it's definitely 300,000. Just that song alone did 300,000 in like 6 months, and I pitched it to 5 playlists, and other people started picking it up and playlisting it for free. And that's another thing that artists need to understand is just because you're paying on a playlist, it doesn't mean that you're only paying for one playlist. I've noticed people playlist my song a lot, and I'm grateful. Whoever's out there, thank you for doing that, because like you guys are keeping my career alive,
Yeah. And any more future projects coming up on the way for you that you're able to tell us about?
Yes. The Jonni Apollo mixtape is coming out this summer. Change from Apollo, and the mixtape actually is going to be 15 to 25 tracks. I have over 200 songs done. Wow. But I'm gonna be very particular on like, I'm gonna just place it properly, but it's gonna be 15 to 25 tracks. And then Change from Apollo Part 2 is dropping in July 4th, the 1-year anniversary.
Oh, nice. Yeah. And Independence Day.
Yeah. Oh, what a trip. See what I'm saying, man? Like, it's just stuff like that. Like, it's the little things, but it's like, oh, wow. That's really weird. That's a coincidence, but is it?
I don't know, maybe. So, where are we able to have a little listen to all your music if we want to?
You could either, if you like, Google Jonni Apollo, JonniApollo. Google it, or you can go on Spotify, Jonni Apollo, Instagram, Jonni Apollo. I am the real Jonni Apollo on Instagram because I am the real one, period. Shout out to others. I'm the real one. But yeah, it's literally just Jonni Apollo, and I'll pop up. I not to be like that, but
Yeah.
I can pop up on Google very easily now, and I'm very grateful to say that. So you can Google Jonni Apollo.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today. It's been amazing to have you here.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you to all the listeners. I appreciate you guys.